I would like to start from the beginning. I will say like that, what it means, the term of counseling. So first of all, the term counseling, what does it mean? It's can be viewed as a specific social system made by the counselor and the counselee as an action process phenomenon in which the participants face up the counsel's diverse possible to solve the problems, but also counseling is a specific performance, a collaboration affected mainly through words and even facts and process. So counseling refers to the situation which take place in such example, counseling facilities to the situation which occurs in unstructured, incidental, random circumstances of real life. And that I will stress on that because in my research, I am also oriented in diagnose and to make visible informal networks between migrants, refugees, mainly people living in this cultural situation, intercultural situation. So what I've done so far, I am almost in the middle of my research. So I've already, if I can say, collected, it's better to say, I had a pleasure and honor to see and to listen the stories, life stories, biographical stories with Ukrainian refugees living in the area of Loiret department. And also I had a chance to collect drawings, 25 drawings presented by Ukrainian refugees as a way to design their subjective networks. So what we can see from my research that Ukrainian refugees lived and taking actions, construct their social ties in institutional level, in institutional networks, but also in non-institutional networks. So what it means, what I understand by non-institutional and informal counseling activities. Non-institutional is everything regarding counseling action outside of the institutions in which I can find counseling practices, counseling actions, even counselor. Informal regarding to the lifelong learning sphere. I understand that informal networks is existed in everyday social life between people who are making their networks, just taking actions, living in informal sphere of their life. So what I found that in non-institutional network, I observe paraprofessional counseling activities and I observe informal counseling activities. What it means that paraprofessional counseling activities that usually in NGOs services, there were some volunteers coming from Ukraine who present themselves as a counselor who sometimes they present themselves as psychologists, also educator of work, of professional work, if I translate directly. And they are taking, according to their actions, professional counseling activities. But in fact, they don't have any legal right to provide these services. So actually, nobody is check their competences, their way of working. Sometimes even there is no possibility to understand what they are talking about in what refugees in non-governmental, non-institutional, I will say, networks. And informal counseling activities, we have refugees, Ukrainian refugees who help each other in very informal way, and it makes some consequences, which I will speak later on. So that's what this is what I mentioned, that we have what I called insecure counseling activities proposed by paraprofessional helpers. I call them like that because we cannot see their diplomas. We cannot see their credentials to actually who present also their level of education, their competences. So what I said that in these insecure counseling activities, usually, as I said, made and provide outside of the institution, we have pseudo expert. This pseudo expert also are visible in virtual networks or website for Ukrainian refugees. So the people are actually set up some chats, some websites when they can speak only in Ukrainian. So they help each other. They present themselves as counselor, psychologist, and this is really, I will say, terra incognita, because nobody is checking and nobody is actually verifying if these people can provide, let's say, career guidance or psychological support for refugees. We have, of course, Ukrainian psychologists, consultant, therapists, educators who practice, but also in this non-institutional networks, they practice without license or sometimes legal permission, because they due to French law, they sometimes their statute is not sure. Some of them, in the process of recognition of their asylum request, but also some of them, they are know that their stay in France is ended because they are not allowed to stay in France territory. Uh, so what I would like to say that distinguish manipulative versus positive counseling activities who were proposed and who are made by informal counselors. So, for example, somebody who can be called um, as a guide, this guide, position of the guide make and actually set up in networks, non-formal networks, non-institutional network is related to finding a job, helping with renting flat, usually, unfortunately, for money or for as an exchange for something. So actually, this service of non-formal or para-professional counselor made and maintained by Ukrainian refugee is almost always taking for money. We have also adaptator, or which I called also facilitator. This is kind of presentator of a town. So we are talking about people who arrived first in the department, who have experience, and usually they are not refugees. They had position as a migrant, on dit en français, primo-arrivant. But nowadays, the situation of adaptator is regulated, and this representator or presentator of a town or a village is helping regarding enrollment to the school, to the NHS service, etc. So he serves practical information to settle down formally. We have also translator. This is kind of non-formal and an informal translator who is creator of interpretations and meanings of code culture, values, and customs. And usually this translator is kind of translator of the culture of what you can in France or what you can do in France, how French people behave and what you can say, how to in front of them, how you should behave, what you are allowed to do with in French culture, or when you have to go in the department, in the cities, which region of the town is mainly not welcome for refugees. So it is kind of translator. But there's one thing which is always repeated, that Ukrainian refugees from in these non-formal networks speaking with me, saying always that somebody must be with you. And this is repeated. Always you need to have somebody with you wherever you are going during 1 year and a half or 2 years, because the administration, French administration, is so complicated that you need to have somebody next to you always, wherever you are going. So what I distinguish, that you can have a guide, you can have adaptator or translator, and you have in this network, informal network, you can use guide and in the same time translator. It depends on your need as a refugees. What it means, what it means for people, for people provide, not provide, but people actually using this non-institutional networks. What I found that unfortunately it leads towards marginalization, victimization, separation, sometimes from the host and home culture. What does it mean that, for example, using stereotypes that, for example, French people are always not welcome in the department of Loiret because it's near to the Paris. So this is the specificity of the department. And it means that sometimes people, particularly in this first period of their life in the department Loiret, they actually believe in that French people are like that. Because this situation is so insecure in the first period, so they are really touch any information which give them psychological stabilization. In many cases, it leads to the dependence, loneliness, but also ghettoization, unfortunately. So I also regard formal counseling actions, let's say institutional, and I ask myself why refugees, Ukrainian refugees, want to and prefer to use this non-formal network, non-institutional, I will say like that. It's better to say like that, but not this, formal. So what they said that it's long queue, sometimes 3 months, 2 months, in order to do something regarding French biography. It is limited time for appointments. Of course, difficulties with language, so that you need to have always with you translator, and translator is not always in the disposition to spend time with you, and uncomfortable working hours. So I distinguish lots of barriers. And so this is one of the reasons that Ukrainian refugees using non-institutional networks, because according to them, institutional networks doesn't work. You have to wait. This is also, I'm quote, that waiting for any small piece of paper. In order to settle down, Ukrainian refugees told me formally they need to at least sometimes 1 year regarding to social security, regarding national NHS, so national health system, French national health system. So it's a big problem. And also, I would like to give you some types of migration networks. I cannot show you more, but this is one of the example that one of the men show me that this is his networks. Mainly, he said that he is using all the time, for example, social media, and never use and looking for a help in institutional networks in social media. So I cannot show you more because I'm not allowed I don't receive permission from people to show you more pictures. So that's it from me, and thank you so much for listening me.